He appeared on a summer afternoon in Tokyo, a man holding a passport from a country that doesn't exist. Not a myth, not a legend. A man with fingerprints, travel stamps, corporate credentials, all seemingly real, but from a place no one had ever heard of. And then, as suddenly as he appeared, he vanished, without a trace. This is not just a story, it's a case. One that defies logic, borders, and time. This is the mystery of the untraceable traveler. It was July 1954. Tokyo was hot, humid, and restless, still recovering from the ashes of a world war. Haneda Airport was a growing hub, increasingly international, but hardly the chaotic mega-hub it would later become. That day, a European-looking man stepped off a flight from an unnamed European country. He wore a gray business suit, carried a black leather briefcase, and spoke multiple languages, French, Japanese, Spanish, all fluently. The immigration agents double-checked maps. No Taured, not in Europe, not in Africa, not in Asia. They brought out global directories, atlases, and reference materials. Still, nothing. The man appeared confused. He insisted Taured had been a sovereign nation for over 1,000 years. He even pointed to it on a map, placing his finger somewhere around the border between France and Spain. You mean Andorra? No, Taured. It should be right there. He seemed genuinely disturbed when they told him there was no record of his country's existence. Not in their archives. Not on any government list. Not even in the world itself. The man's passport, however, looked authentic. The paper, the stamps, the ink, all appeared real under forensic examination. And it wasn't just the passport. He carried a European driver's license, checks from a bank that didn't exist, and even business correspondence with a Japanese company he claimed to be visiting. He gave them the name of his firm, a corporation allegedly based in Taured, but no such company existed. Still, the Japanese company he claimed to be meeting with? That did exist, and when contacted, the executives confirmed they were expecting a European consultant that day, but no one had shown up. Suspecting either fraud or mental illness, Japanese authorities detained the man, but he wasn't aggressive or disturbed. He remained calm, respectful, even cooperative. He insisted that something was wrong, not with him, but with the world. They placed him under surveillance in a guarded hotel room on the top floor of the building. The windows didn't open. The door was locked from the outside. 2 guards were posted at the door throughout the night. He was scheduled for interrogation the next morning, but when they opened the door, he was gone. There was no sign of forced entry, no broken locks, no tampered windows. He had vanished. Every belonging, his documents, his briefcase, even the clothes he wore, had disappeared along with him. Security footage was non-existent. It was 1954, and surveillance systems were limited. The guards reported nothing unusual. They swore he never left the room. Authorities launched a full investigation. They contacted embassies, intelligence agencies, international police. Nothing. No country claimed him. No government acknowledged him. No match was found in fingerprints, photos, or travel logs. It was as if he had never existed. Since then, the case has taken on a life of its own. Researchers, skeptics, and conspiracy theorists have all offered explanations, some logical, others not so much. Let's explore them. The most famous explanation is that the man was from a parallel reality, one in which Taured does exist. Supposedly, it was a small European nation that, in his version of history, shares territory with Andorra, or maybe southern France. Some people think he somehow slipped through dimensions, accidentally crossing into our world where his country never existed. And when his frequency, or, his timeline corrected itself, he was pulled back. Others believe he may have been part of an intelligence operation gone wrong. Perhaps a spy with fabricated documents, technology ahead of its time. And when his mission was compromised, he was extracted or, silenced. Just remember, this was the Cold War era. Shadow governments, secret passports, and deep cover agents were not just fiction. They were reality. But if that's the case, who was he working for? A more skeptical theory is that the man was mentally unwell, maybe a victim of a rare delusion or a fugue state. It's possible he believed in Taured so deeply that he manufactured his identity in detail. But this doesn't explain the physical evidence, the high-quality passport, the accurate stamps, the scheduled business meeting, or the fact that he vanished from a locked room. So there's this fringe theory that's, growing in popularity. The idea is that the man wasn't from another dimension, but actually from another time. In this version, Taured is a nation that once existed, or maybe will exist in the future, and somehow he just slipped through time. Could he have been a test subject from a secret time travel project? Or was he just lost in a loop he never understood? Finally, there are people who believe the entire story was, honestly, just a fabrication, an urban legend that's been exaggerated over the years. But here's the problem. Multiple versions of the case appear in old archives, obscure journals, and interviews with retired airport officials and immigration workers. Sure, the details change a bit, but the core elements always remain: a man with a passport from a non-existent country, an interrogation, a locked room, and a disappearance. What really makes this story endure isn't just how strange it is, but the idea that it might actually be possible. It brings up questions we just can't answer. What defines reality? Can something or someone exist outside of our map of the world? And honestly, if that's true, how many others have crossed over, completely unnoticed? We live in an age of surveillance, data, borders, and bureaucracy. And yet, right in the heart of one of the most orderly systems on Earth, a man may have slipped through the cracks of time and space. No name, no country, no past, no future. Just a question echoing through history. Who was the man from Taured? And how many more cases like his are still waiting to be uncovered? You've just heard the case of the untraceable traveler. It's a story that may be a myth, or maybe a warning, or, just a glimpse into something far stranger than we're usually willing to admit. In the end, we're left with only one certainty. The truth isn't always where we think it is. Sometimes it's just one room away, locked, vanished, and gone forever.